Okay, so this is the dart technique that I teach in Sewing One Basic Skirts. And this is being filmed for you as a refresher so that you can learn how to, at home, practice making your darts and sewing them correctly. So the first thing you're going to do is, in class I had you trace out what size your pattern is, and this pattern we're going to do size 14, so you're looking for the dots that say 14, 16, and 18. So once you've identified them, you pin using these straight pins that have the metal head on them. You don't want to use the ballpoint pins or they'll catch in the tissue paper of the pattern. And so you pin through all dart points. This is the dart apex, and the legs are the straight lines. So 1, 2, 3. And once you have that done, you kind of give it a little yank. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take all of your pins out until you can remove the pattern. Now, this is a white piece of cloth, but let's assume this is the outside or the right side of your fabric. And then you need to, because the darts, because this is on a pattern that is on the fold, that means you're actually going to have two darts, one on each side, the left and the right. And so you need to flip it. And you'll pin through the cloth right at the same points of the dart that you had just pinned through the pattern. So that marks our two darts. And then you're going to open it up. So now you can see both. What you're going to do is you are going to line up your ruler against these points, and that actually helps us make a really straight line. And take your chalk and draw the dart. So I pull the pin up so that it's kind of standing straight up, and that really helps me. So I can see my dart. Now you're going to take your pins, pull them out. You don't need them anymore. And from this point, because this is a demo, I'm going to only do one dart. You'll do your other dart, okay? So to make the dart, it must end precisely at this point and then come together right on the lines at this point. So to find out how they fold in half exactly, it's good to put your pin through the other side and match it up and make sure it ends up on the line. So I do that at the top, and then what I do is I pinch the dart right at that apex point, and I put a pin pointing to where the dart ends, because this part we're gonna sew and then come out. And then I just test my work by pinning through to the other side and checking if it lines up with the chalk mark. Now, see how that doesn't line up with the chalk mark? What you're just going to do is you're going to move it a little bit. So unpin it and then stick the pin through the chalk mark. That's going to get it lined up perfectly, and then you will pin it. So now we have the nice fold where the dart is supposed to be, and we're ready to sew it. Okay, so your machine is all threaded and it's set on straight stitch, and I like to begin at the wide point and go to the point. That'll prevent you from getting any tangles with your thread. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start about 1/4 of an inch in and stitch forward, and then do your back stitch. And all you have to do is sew on the line. It makes it really easy. And you can sew over pins that are pinned at right angles to the fold. And then as you get closer to the point, what you're going to do is you're actually going to come off with the needle of the fabric. This gives it a nice point. And then you're going to back stitch back on. And that's all you have to do. Trim it a little, and so you can see that's what your dart looks like. You take your pins out, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to check our work, and as long as it opens up and it's got a nice clean point, you're good to go.